create breakout room. You want me to keep as host, Marlon, or do you want me to pass back to you?
Just keep it, that's fine. Aaron says I'm not loud enough, so I gotta turn my mic up, and I'm not sure how to do that. Okay.
You need to let him on in the meeting.
Okay.
Well, we had her, she was up at the top, but now she's gone.
Okay, we're live. So
It only takes a minute.
Hey, I'm not showing that she's
I got it.
even
I'm
longer.
host now, so I have to do it.
So
Oh.
you have to let him on.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Create breakout room.
So as soon as we get Laura back in, Laura's back on, okay. I think we're ready to start the meeting, Becky, whenever.
You ready? Okay, we're going to start the meeting. Call this meeting to order. And we're going to start with our marketing update.
Unmute yourself.
Hello.
Okay, Yvonne, you ready for the marketing update?
Yes, I am. I believe each of you have received your report in the board report. We've been working hard on keeping our students updated on COVID-19 issues, as well as we've been working on videos for the campus to highlight different things for our students. We just completed a FAFSA walkthrough video that will be available soon to our students to help them with applying for federal financial aid. And then we are also working with Ms. Pollitt on getting together some numbers for a grant for some advertising for non-traditional. Our biggest things on social media was obviously our COVID updates. Our reach on Facebook and Twitter has gone through the roof with all of this information. And then surprisingly, the Grey's Anatomy post about our former student who is now Dr. Winston. So those are our two most popular posts on social media, and everyone's working from home, still moving forward. Any questions?
Yvonne, are you doing the student life, or is, I don't see Aaron Flores on the call.
I can do that. He did give his report. We've been working our SLMs because we don't have very many students in the campus. The SLMs have been working with maintenance to clean and prepare the dorms, as well as they're painting Weinberg Hall and whatever else Chris Wesh has for them to do. I believe we're down to like 27 students in the dorms. We got notified today that we have a couple more that are moving out this week. So slowly, as the semester progresses, they're going home. But we are at 27 right now in the dorms. So.
Okay, thank you, Yvonne.
You're welcome.
I don't believe there's any questions for you, so we will move ahead. The president's update is next.
The president's update, you see the information in the board packet. Due to the pandemic, we did have to cancel our spring performance of the Fantastics, and we did make the decision with the foundation to cancel the upcoming scholarship auction as well as graduation. So those are some of the changes there. We did move back our last day to drop classes back to the 24th of April to give students more time to adjust and then get started into making that determination if they needed to drop a class or wanted to drop a class. We, of course, have been updating the website consistently, and then making sure we keep people informed of what we're doing as an institution. Of course, the administrative team is constantly watching the changes in the state and federal regulations, of course, looking at the CARES Act, the stimulus money, trying to figure out and navigate through those requirements. We have not canceled our duck. It's called the Quack Clash, and that is scheduled for the first Saturday in June, on June 6th. We most of the activities have been completed on that besides the actual activity that day. So we're just going to ride that one a little bit longer and make the determination on that. We will run it whether it's virtual or face-to-face. We'll see once we get closer to that date as to what we'll do. Let's see. We did during this time, which, you know, our lives have been disrupted. However, we did have some postseason honors for some of our basketball kids. They're noted on there: Faith Simpson and Naya Markowska on the girls' side, and then Mikkel Murray on the men's side was named a NJCAA All-American team player. So those are nice accolades for those students. If you have any questions, I'll answer those. Might take this a minute to make sure Jimmy and Laura can hear us correct.
It comes and goes, and when you do talk, sometimes it's really good, and then other times it's really echoey and hard to understand. If someone other than you talks, it's terrible.
Okay.
Marlon, is Doug out there? Anywhere on or anything?
Do you want to talk about enrollment and our last day to drop?
Hey, Kim, can you contact Doug and double check to make sure he didn't have technical problems?
Yep, I'll do that.
We can't hear you guys. You're both muted.
Okay, I'm keeping mine off because it seems like when I start talking, it's a really bad echo.
Well, would it
So-
help if I go in another room?
I don't.
It is really
Honestly,
when Becky talks.
I think they need to neither one be in the room for us to be able to understand them if they're going to talk.
Trying to think how we do this in classes.
Okay, give us a minute. We're going to make some adjustments here so we can fix this.
Marlon? Can you hear me? Okay. Doug Ott he can hear everybody, but he can't see. And when he clicked the little video thing, it says cannot detect a camera on his computer. And he can't talk, but he can hear everything. So he said for me to call him if you guys have a question. Did you have another? Is that okay?
Okay. Thanks, Kim.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, my mic. Terrible. Okay, we're going to try again. Is this more pleasant for everyone to hear? Thumbs up? Okay. All right, we'll try it this way.
So everyone's gonna need to. We gotta mute it.
Okay, we-
gotta mute everything. Gotta turn the speakers back on, unmute them. It was in here. Where's it at?
Okay, we're still working on trying to get everyone in a situation where they can hear what the meetings, what's happening at the meeting. So we'll be right with you.
Go ahead. There you go. You
Okay.
can talk and they can hear you.
I'm back on. Hello.
All right, we're going to continue on with the meeting. We are going to go with financial reports, and that will be Jeff.
Hello, everybody. You've got the written report in your packet. I'll just hit some highlights. All right. Our March operating revenues totaled little over 1.3 million. That is about 530,000 less than expected. The two areas that came in below expectations were student revenues, which was about $315,000 below what we expected, and local tax revenues were 222,000 below. And I'll come back to that here in just a minute. Year-to-date operating revenues now total a little over 11.9 million. This total is a little over 300,000 below the budgeted number. Student revenues, I told you for the month they were down 315,000. That's close to where they're at for the year now, 346,000. And then local taxes, if you remember when we received the January distribution, it was about $200,000 more than we expected. It seems more was processed in January than normal because when we got our March distribution, it came right back in line. We're within 100,000 of our budget now. Moving on to expenditures, the March operating expenditures totaled 1.3 million, which was 120,000 below budget. Year to date, our expenditures are now 11.8 million, and we're running $278,000 below budget. So net revenue for the month, our expenditures did exceed revenues by just under $24,000. For the year, our revenues have exceeded expenditures by 89,000. At the end of March, our operating cash was 9.8 million. Total cash on hand was a little over 14 million. Because of the financial aid disbursement in March, our accounts receivable has come back down to 3.1 million. Moving on to the forecast, which is page 6. Because of the COVID-19 situation, there's a lot of changes in our forecast for the rest of this year. We had already forecasted a lower than expected dorm occupancy revenue for that. But because of this recent situation, all but 27 of our students went home. And so we chose to follow suit with most of our peers. In fact, I'm not aware of any that did not issue refunds for dorms and meals. Our total for those students that went home was $402,550. That money, we finished processing all of that last week. Those checks went in the mail on Friday of last week. In addition to that, we still have some ongoing costs with food service. Even though we're only feeding 27 students, there's some base costs that we have. That's roughly $33,000 a month that'll be there through July. So the net impact on our forecast is a cost reduction of $87,000 in April and $43,500 in May. So not the full amount that we refunded to the students. Real estate taxes, told you that we're kind of back in check there year to date. But in meetings with various state officials, because of the business closures, the layoffs, et cetera, across the state, they are recommending we prepare for a pretty sharp increase in delinquencies for property tax. And some of the numbers that have been given out are to forecast delinquencies as high as 15%. Just for a point of reference, our typical delinquency rate is about 3%. I think it is, and this is my opinion only, I think it's unlikely that we will reach the 15% range because we have so much industry in our tax base. Those companies are still operating, still making revenue. I expect them to still pay their taxes. But it's the small business, the residents, et cetera, where I think we will potentially see a problem. And until we get more analysis done on that, I have forecasted a shortfall in our June distribution of a little over 300,000. So those are the major changes to the estimates between now and the end of the year, or the forecast. So I will try to answer any questions you have.
Does anyone have any questions for Jeff?
I have none.
I have none.
Okay, Jeff, I don't believe I've heard anyone with any questions, so we'll accept your reports and we will move on. Okay.
Ready for the action items?
Right. We're going to, next on the agenda would be discussion items. We will be moving on now to the action items consent agenda. Is there anything you want to pull out and talk about, Marlon, before we have a motion?
That bus repair, we got to update the bus repair.
Okay, Marlon sent out an email right before the meeting. It's a revised on the bus repair. As you can see, the cost has gotten a little higher than what the original amount was. It's now $19,000. His recommendation is still obviously that we go ahead and take care of this repair work. Other than that, I think everything's pretty much common as we've had in the past as far as the action items consent agenda. So at this time, I would like for someone to make a motion to accept the action items consent agenda.
Can you read those out loud?
Sure. We have the approval of the minutes, the personnel report, approval of bills, treasurer's report, approval of hot water heater replacement, approval of the bus number 408 repair. Does that help, Jimmy?
Yeah, I couldn't get the document to open again.
All right, Jimmy, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Okay. All right, Jimmy couldn't get in to hear what was being approved, so he asked for a list of the items underneath our action items consent agenda. So at this time now, I need someone to make a motion to accept the items that I just read.
I would make the motion to approve.
Okay, David's made a motion to approve the action items consent agenda. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Looks like Doug. Doug will second it. I believe to help Kim, we all need to, she's going to read our names and you can say, yes, you approve, or no, you do not. So yeah, Kim, I'm going to turn my mic off and leave it to you now, Kim.
Okay. Becky, Doug,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yes.
and Laura.
Yes.
That would be unanimous, Chairman Barnhart.
Okay, motion carried. We will now move under to new business.
I got to do this.
Okay. Marlon has new business, so I'm turning my mic off.
And I'm turning mine on. Okay, so under new business, we have some changes to the conference and the in the regulations on basketball for the basketball floor. And so it's been 12 years since we've had the basketball floor resanded. We've refinished each year, but to actually go back down to the wood resand, and we'll have to put in a new 3-point line, and then we'll have to at the same time take out the circle in the, or the partial circle in the lane. That was changed several years back. And so to do that project, I just wanted to get on the board's radar that that's a project that we'll need to complete this summer. We do right now tentatively have a cheerleading, Acacia sponsored cheerleading and dance camp scheduled in the gyms during the month of July, providing that that is allowed to happen. So we would, we need to get on the schedule with For State Maintenance to do this project. Estimated cost is just under $20,000 to redo the two courts, to adjust the lines and resand and put the graphics back on the courts. We also had an issue with the center court logo. It's too big and doesn't meet the regulations. And so we will fix that at that same time. So I'm just looking for, I guess the board is giving me a thumbs up that we can go ahead and get it scheduled. The work would not be completed until after the May board meeting, so we would actually bring it for approval in May.
Dr. Thornburg?
Yes.
One correction, just for everybody's understanding. It is just the main court, the west court, that this proposal covers. We don't need to do anything to the east gym this year. We have enough coats of the finish on there. They analyzed it when they were looking at what needed to be done in the west gym and recommended we leave it alone this year.
Questions on June?
Okay, that's all the new business that he has. Okay. We do have some items that we will need to go into executive session for. And at this time, I will have Vice Chairman David Baldwin read the two items. I guess we'll do two and then one, right? Can we do the two together, Marlon? Okay, we will have three. So David, if you would just read the first one, please.
Okay, I would move the board recess for preliminary discussions relating to the acquisition of real property not to exceed 10 minutes with Vice President Jeff Morris and President Thornburg to remain.
Okay, at this time, I need someone to second, please.
I'll second. Doug.
All right, I have a second from Doug. Kim, again, I will need for you to poll the board. I say yes.
Okay. Doug Mish,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yes.
and Laura.
Yes.
Okay, unanimous, Chairman Barnhart.
Okay, at this time,
We need to add Doug Ott by phone.
and we need to add Doug Ott by telephone.
Okay, how do I do that?
How
What?
does she do that, Marlon?
I know, go.
Okay, we'll call on the conference phone here in the boardroom.
Okay.
Okay, Kim?
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
So now we need for, I guess, you're going to take us, okay, we are going to switch and the way I understand it, we're all going to go into a different group. So just the people in the executive session will now be able to hear and see the meeting at this point.
Going now. Right now, you can.
All right, I believe we are now back into open session. And at this time, we need to have another executive session. And Vice Chairman David Baldwin, would you please make a motion? David, can you hear me?
Okay, now can you hear me? Okay, would you like to do both of the next together?
You can't.
I don't believe we can. I believe each one has to be a separate
Okay,
session, please.
all right. Then I would, Madam Chairman, I would move to recess to executive session for consultation with an attorney for the public body or agency, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship for 20 minutes. I would ask that Jeff Morris and President Thornburg and Doug Ott remain.
Okay, I need a second.
I'll second.
Laura, there she is. Laura, would you like to second?
Yes,
Yes.
I'll second. Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. I believe Kim has to poll us again, so I say yes.
Okay. David,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yes.
and Doug Mish. Doug?
Right. Yes.
Okay. It's unanimous, Chairman Barnhart.
All right, we will go into executive session for 20 minutes and return after that time. Okay, I believe. Okay, I believe we are back and we are in open session. But we again need to go into executive session for the last item that Vice Chair Mr. Baldwin here will read to us, please.
Okay, now are we on? I'm sorry. I would move the board recess to executive session for matters employing to employer-employee negotiations, whether or not in consultation with a representative or representatives of the public body or agency for 30 minutes, again, to include Vice President Jeff Morris and President Thornburg and our attorney Doug Ott.
Okay, and again, I need someone to second, please.
I'll second.
All right, we have Doug Mish will second the motion, and Kim, you need to poll us, and I say yes.
Okay. David Baldwin,
Yes?
Doug Mish,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and Jimmy.
Yes, sorry.
That's okay. Chairman Barnhart, it was unanimous. Okay.
Okay, at this time, we will be leaving and going into our knockout room or whatever it is called. Breakout room. There we go. Let's not knock out. Let's break out. Sorry.
let me, without me, won't let me. We're gonna have to wait 27 seconds, won't let me. Is it?
Okay, we're waiting for Marlon's computer to be back up. So are we all back yet, Jonathan?
Everyone's back in, yes.
Okay, we're all here. Okay, we got it. Okay, we're back. That would take care of any executive
You
sessions.
need to stop. It was awful. I have no idea what you were saying. It was really loud and really crazy.
Okay, is it better now?
It is now better.
All right.
But whatever you said to start with, I got no.
And actually, it wasn't important. I was just kind of jabbering, waiting for everyone to get back into session. We're now back into open session. And if there's not any more business that needs to be discussed at this time, I would like to have a motion to adjourn. Anyone have any other issues they want to discuss in open meeting?
I think we need to make our decision about our board members, our board member.
You do it this month? Well,
I just think they've all waited long enough. They've come in to see us. Where are we going on the 3rd month now?
I think 2 months. I think it's been 2 months.
February, March, this is April's.
Okay, but Laura, I don't know, but I think we might have told the candidates that we weren't.
Do we? Okay.
So
Okay, then I'm okay with that.
I had one applicant call and ask, and I said, because of the uncertainty of how this meeting was going to be conducted, that we would definitely talk about it next month.
Okay,
So,
I'm good with that. They're aware.
Okay.
Thank you.
And so I think hopefully we'll do this again, but maybe we'll be better at it. And maybe possibly we can all get together. So because of your recommendation, I think let's just plan on having that discussion next month. Is that agreeable if everyone? I think I haven't heard anyone say no. So I guess we'll get there next month. Okay. Okay.
I do think that if we are still under restrictions versus do it this way, I think we'd be better off meeting in either the auditorium or somewhere bigger and spreading out and being 6 feet apart versus trying to do this with the computer.
Okay, I kind of agree with you, Jimmy. So we'll see what we can come up with by the next meeting next month, and really try to push for maybe trying to get us into an area where we can kind of communicate better. I think that would be much better.
Especially if we're going to try to pick a candidate to take that vacant spot so that we can have that discussion face to face.
I agree 100%. All right. So with that being said, a motion to adjourn. So someone please make.
What
are you? What Laura say? I can hear what she said.
Doug has something to say. He needs to unmute himself.
Oh, Doug, if you're talking, we can't hear you. Doug. I see. I don't even see Doug. There's Doug.
You need to keep the string tight between those two tin cans, somehow.
No. Okay.
Anyway, there's a possibility I'm not going to be at the next meeting if it's on the scheduled date. We were going to be gone this month and our trip got postponed because of all that's going on in the shutdown. So if I'm not able to be there, can I be on Zoom, or what could we do?
We can do a phone call situation with you. We could even maybe consider moving the meeting to a different date.
Keep moving it because you moved it this month because of me, and I hate for that to keep being a problem. So.
Okay. At this point, we'll just leave the meeting as scheduled, but then after Marlon and Jeff and everyone gets together and visits, maybe we could even change the meeting date. We'll just have to find out what the board, each person, how their schedules are looking. Okay.
But I could attend the meeting via what we've done.
Right.
Here.
Exactly. And by telephone. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Jimmy's made the motion. Laura will second. And Kim will poll, and I say adjourn. So we'll see what everybody else says.
Laura,
Yes.
Doug,
Yes.
Jimmy,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Okay, everybody is in agreement.
Okay. Well, thank you, everyone. And this has certainly been different. And let's finger crossed next month we'll be looking across the room at each other. So stay safe.
Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, everyone, thank you for being so patient and polite. Yes, absolutely.